morning. I want to talk today about what's become of Blue Hill during this pandemic. We closed the restaurants in the middle of March, Blue Hill, New York City, and Blue Hill at Stone Barns. We had to terminate the employment of nearly 200 Blue Hillians, and we kept a core group and launched a food box program that kept these core group employed and also worked to continue to buy from our core group of farmers, which we came to understand were relying on us. And that inspired us to grow our box program and promote it very strongly with the community. And the response has been great. And the box program has grown from one box to now 7 different boxes of fish, meats, vegetables, some prepared foods, desserts, pastries. That's allowed us to keep the connection with these farmers and allowed us to also donate boxes to the community, to people in need, frontline workers at hospitals, and just our community within our area are devastated. And so we are committed to providing meals for these people in need. And so what it has done is launched what we have become is really a food processing center. We're no longer a restaurant. We are a place where food is processed, whether it's meats into charcuterie or fresh cuts or fish that is smoked or dried and pure and preserved. But we are able to take in a tremendous amount of produce and proteins and repurpose them for extra deliciousness, extra nutrition, and extra ability to provide a revenue source for these farmers in need. So the restaurant is no longer a restaurant, but it is this very distinct food hub of food processing. And it's been a lesson to me that these processes that I am borrowing from other cultures and other cuisines around the world are instrumental to the health of our our bodies in terms of good nutritious food, and absolutely essential to the network of farmers that farm the right way and supply the right kind of produce. What this COVID pandemic has taught us is that restaurants, chefs are the key customer for these restaurants. In so many ways, we provide a one drop-off consistency, and we also provide the diversity that farmers, good farmers, organic farmers, biodynamic farmers need to cultivate. And most home cooks do not want to be adventurous in their home kitchen. Chefs, of course, that's all we look for. And so that connection between diversity on our menus and diversity in the landscape is so important. And restaurants have created the what we call the farm to table movement, and we've deepened it and expanded it. And in this moment now, this crisis moment, it's revealed just how important and how profound that restaurant connection, that chef connection to good farming and good growers is. And so we took some of our resources, some young cooks and people that are connected to us through the Stone Barns Center, which is the non-for-profit arm at Stone Barns, and we investigated the story of farmers in our area. What was this pandemic doing to their long-term viability, their ability to continue to farm? And what we learned was unbelievable. Within our own area, our region, we were about close to 40% of these farms were considering going bankrupt by the end of the year if things don't improve dramatically. And then nationally, the survey is revealing, these questions are revealing that 30% of the farmers across the country, small independent farmers growing food in the right way, are threatened with bankruptcy because they cannot continue to provide food for just retail customers. It's too expensive to pack up individual boxes and distribute that to home cooks. And so again, we see the absolute critical role that restaurants and institutions and chefs play in encouraging and providing the right kind of food. We are hoping that our box program becomes an inspiration for other restaurants to do the same and to take advantage of a moment that has been presented to us, and use our skill, our gastronomic, culinary skills to preserve these networks of farmers and improve the quality of food that we purchase from them. The other project to come out of the pandemic is a project we're calling Kitchen Farming Project. And the Kitchen Farming Project is about out-of-work cooks being engaged with farming. When we closed, I kept in touch with the 30 or so cooks that we had unfortunately fired, and most of them were on their couch watching YouTube. And I just thought, what a waste of these young minds. And so the farmer at Stone Barns, Jack Algier, offered 3 beautiful patches of grass and offered to have the cooks tear it up and plant seeds. And he wrote a recipe for them that is beautiful. Very simple. It's a shovel, it's seeds, it's water. And it's meant to give a cook who's never planted anything, never cultivated anything, the opportunity to engage with the world around them and to become knowledgeable and conscious about where their food comes from. It's just a beautiful gesture on the part of our farmers to our cooks. And these 3 farmers planted this garden, have started to plant their own gardens and chosen their own seeds. And they're 3 distinct, beautiful gardens that they started Instagramming, taking photos of, Instagramming, Slack channels to other cooks around the country. And the other cooks around the country started to ask for the recipe. So we sent out the recipe, and all of a sudden we looked up and we realized there are these garden projects happening all over the country. And then we made a more formal push with cooks out there, and we got a tremendous response. Of this week, we added on nearly 2,000 cooks from around the world, from Africa, Nigeria, Greece, New Zealand, Denmark, Alaska, in the United States. Southern Sao Paulo. I mean, we got an amazing response of young out-of-work cooks and a lot of other people, non-food industry related, who wanted to follow this recipe. So it's been a moment that's taken me aback, because it's shown the power of good food and of cooks to chefs and cooks, professionals, to lead in awareness about where our food comes from and how it's grown. And this is a moment where these cooks are saying something very profound. First, they're saying they're going to get off the couch and stop watching TV. But they're also saying that they're going to learn about how food should be grown for their future restaurant. So actually, the gardens are becoming part of who they are as people and as cooks. And that is the long game, because you want this to become a movement that stays for a generation. And once these cooks become, as they are now, become engaged with soil and with this kind of food, it stays with them for a lifetime. It's a very, very uplifting story that came really by accident, and I'm thrilled with the direction it's headed. We want more people to sign up. We want more people to engage in this, and we want to follow it. It's not just about the restaurants in terms of coming back and hiring back these cooks. It's about, what do these cooks do with the produce that they're growing, and can we not only inspire people to grow more of their own food and inspire people to connect with farmers that are growing food in a similar way, but to cook more at home and to cook with more adventure and with more understanding about what's at stake and what's involved and the pleasure of all of it. I mean, the hedonism of all of it, of course, is a part of this. So we're excited to see not just the cultivation of this garden, but the gastronomic part of it, which we think will be very exciting when we get there. So those are ideas that have come out of this pandemic, and is, I think, an opportunity for us all to appreciate the farmers who are providing the ingredients for our menus, and then the role of restaurants and chefs to create a better world, really. And what this pandemic has shown is that we have a food system in America, but in many parts of the world, that just does not work. And what's needed, the answer is very clear. We need more local, regional farmers that are supporting the right kind of food. It's food that also gives you not just a level of pleasure and hedonism, but a level of protection against what nature throws at you. And in this case, it's a COVID virus. And we need strength in our bodies. And this kind of food just is that kind of vaccine. It's that medicine. And it's a great opportunity to rethink our engagement with food and with healthy food and with delicious food. This is all one subject. So we're hoping that the project that we've launched, not just the food boxes and not just the kitchen farming project, but the overall message of this whole moment is to have us rethink this, because as we circle out of this, and we will circle out of it, is what choices do we make with food? How do we think about a future food system that we want for our children? And that's where we are, because big food companies, big agriculture, big interests want to seize this moment too, because they see it as the moment when people who have stayed at home are going more towards processed food, more towards prepared food. And that is, that's a real choice. We are at an inflection point, and we ought to be aware of the inflection point and make choices that matter, because they do. And so the hope now is that chefs and restaurants can lead that conversation, because if not us, who? Really, who? Who has the credentials to lead a conversation that connects the environment, the health, nutrient density, and pleasure? They're the one group that can talk about that subject with authority and with the broadcasting message are chefs. And so there is a new role for chefs, and it's profound. And I'm looking forward to these young cooks being introduced to that and taking it and making it their own, and continuing to influence the culture as they get to be chefs themselves and have their own restaurants. So that is the inspiration that's come out of this work, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. Thank you.